people starting to ask the same question. Who will benefit the most from this incident?
Late that same night, while complete calm seemed to blanket Camilla's luxury yacht, an emergency security alarm suddenly shattered the silence. Yet the greatest danger was not an intruder. It was the shocking discovery waiting inside. A collection of intimate photographs showing Camilla together with her former husband, Andrew Parker Bowles, quickly found its way into Prince William's hands. To William, the issue was far more than a private indiscretion. It posed a serious threat to the dignity and public standing of the entire British royal family. As he carefully followed one clue after another, a mysterious journey omitted from the official calendar, a trusted bodyguard who abruptly disappeared, and a covert rendezvous hidden from public view, the truth slowly came into focus. It revealed a bond that had never truly been broken, and an elaborate scheme designed to conceal it. At the same time, Camilla desperately worked to eliminate every trace before the secret could come to light. Just when it appeared that every loose end had been tied up, who would ultimately uncover the complete truth? Late one evening at Kensington Palace, Camilla slept soundly in her private apartment. After spending the entire day attending official royal engagements, all she wanted was a quiet night's rest. The palace rested in its usual peaceful silence, with nothing suggesting that anything was amiss. Unbeknownst to her, far out in the Mediterranean, hundreds of nautical miles away, her super yacht Zenobia had become the scene of a disturbing security incident. Aboard the magnificent yacht anchored beneath the midnight sky, the advanced security system abruptly sprang to life. At precisely 12 o'clock, a shrill intrusion alarm echoed across the water, cutting through the stillness of the sea. Captain Harris, a seasoned former Special Forces officer, reacted instantly, grabbing his radio and shouting, "Level 1 security alert. Every unit conduct an immediate search. Leave no area unchecked." The security personnel moved without hesitation, executing their assignments with military discipline. They split into multiple teams to inspect every section of the yacht, including surveillance equipment, access points, upper decks, sea perimeters, and even the engine compartment. Every inch was examined with exceptional care. They found no evidence of forced entry, no suspicious individuals, no damage, and no fingerprints. Motion sensors also showed that nothing had approached the vessel from the water. Standing inside the command room, Harris frowned and said, "There's nothing here. Most likely a system malfunction. Turn off the alarm, but keep everyone on maximum alert." Even so, protocol required one final physical inspection before anyone could stand down. During that last sweep, a young security officer named Ellis noticed something deeply unusual. The entrance to Camilla's private cabin, the yacht's most secure location, was slightly open, leaving only a narrow gap barely wide enough for a hand to pass through. That alone violated strict security regulations, since the door was required to remain double-locked at all times, with access limited to Camilla and only a select few authorized personnel. They cautiously pushed the door open and entered, growing more uneasy with every step. The atmosphere inside felt strangely oppressive. When they inspected the concealed compartment, hidden behind a false wall, a secure vault known only to Camilla and the senior security staff, they all stopped in stunned silence. Resting neatly inside was a thick file positioned as though someone had placed it there only moments earlier. Captain Harris slipped on protective gloves before carefully opening the folder. Inside were dozens of close-up high-quality color photographs. The pictures captured Camilla together with her former husband Andrew Parker Bowles, sharing unmistakably intimate moments inside a charming old stone cottage in the Cotswolds. Their affectionate touches, private smiles, and unmistakably personal gestures could never be dismissed as ordinary friendship. Every image struck like a devastating blow. An overwhelming silence settled over the room, so intense it seemed everyone could hear their own heartbeat. Tightening his jaw, Harris spoke in a strained voice. "This is extremely serious. these photographs could destroy the reputation of the entire royal family. Seal everything immediately and have the complete evidence package delivered to Prince William at Kensington Palace before sunrise. This stays absolutely confidential. Not even the yacht's captain is to be informed. Without exchanging unnecessary words, the security team moved swiftly. They documented the exact condition of the hidden compartment, secured the dossier inside a specialized waterproof evidence bag, disabled all personal recording equipment, and arranged for the documents to be transported overnight through a secure air courier. The following morning, as the first sunlight reached Kensington Palace, the dossier was already resting on William's desk. He slowly examined each photograph in silence, his expression becoming darker with every page he turned. Meanwhile, Camilla remained asleep inside the palace, completely unaware that anything had happened. But behind the scenes, a quiet yet potentially devastating crisis had already begun. The following morning, as daylight slowly spread across the sea, the dossier had already reached Prince William's private office at Kensington Palace. Despite the elegance of the spacious room, an unmistakable sense of tension filled the air. Sitting by himself, William carefully studied each photograph, every image striking him like a painful blow. Camilla and her former husband, Andrew Parker Bowles, the man she was long rumored to have remained unusually close to, appeared together inside a beautiful old stone residence surrounded by the rolling countryside. The photographs left little room for doubt. Their gentle touches, quiet smiles, exchanged only between them, and unmistakably intimate behavior went far beyond what could reasonably be described as friendship. Though their marriage had ended years earlier, they had continued sharing an unusually close connection, partly because of their children, and partly because of private interests known only to themselves. Yet these images represented something far more dangerous than lingering affection. They had the potential to shatter the carefully restored reputation that William and his father had spent years rebuilding after countless royal controversies. William tightened his fists and murmured under his breath, "This must never become public. Not now." He understood better than anyone that many Britons still remembered the period when Camilla had been branded as the other woman. If photographs like these ever surfaced, everything the House of Windsor had done to regain public trust could disappear overnight. Without delay, William instructed his closest and most trusted advisors to quietly examine Camilla's complete schedule over the previous 3 months. Absolute secrecy was essential, and he insisted that only a handful of people be informed. Within only a few hours, the investigation produced an alarming discovery. Exactly 1 month earlier, there had been a single day when Camilla had left London without any official record. No engagements, no charitable appearances, and not even a brief entry in her private secretary's calendar. Technical specialists then reviewed the tracking data from Camilla's personal vehicle. The route was unmistakable. She had driven into the Cotswolds, a region known for its peaceful stone cottages, green landscapes, and quiet country lanes rarely traveled by outsiders. The destination matched the backdrop in the photographs perfectly, a secluded home hidden deep within a valley, well away from a public attention. William fixed his eyes on the digital map as suspicion grew stronger. This had not been an unplanned outing. It had been an arranged meeting. Just as the investigation was gaining momentum, another unexpected development emerged. Michael, Camilla's longtime bodyguard, who had remained loyally at her side for nearly a decade, unexpectedly submitted his resignation. His explanation was brief and unconvincing. "I need some time to rest after many years of service. My health no longer allows me to continue." There were no detailed reasons, no transition arrangements, only an abrupt departure during an otherwise ordinary period. William immediately sensed that something was wrong. That very afternoon, he summoned Michael to his private office. The atmosphere during their meeting was painfully tense. Michael entered looking pale, with sweat forming across his forehead, despite the cool temperature inside the room. Keeping his head lowered, He avoided looking directly at William. "How long have you served beside her?" Michael William asked calmly, though every word carried unmistakable authority. "Almost 10 years, Your Highness." Michael answered, his voice trembling slightly. "I simply want to retire. There isn't any other reason." William leaned closer, his expression unwavering. "Tell me about the Cotswolds trip last month. What exactly do you know?" Michael hesitated for just a fraction too long before replying. "I only carried out my security responsibilities. Her visit was meant to be private, so I didn't ask questions." The delayed response, his uneasy expression, and the way his hands tightened together made one thing obvious. Michael was concealing something. William could sense the fear surrounding him. He chose not to push harder during that conversation, but privately, he had already reached an important conclusion. The yacht alarm had not been the result of an accidental technical malfunction. It had been part of a carefully orchestrated sequence of events. Someone had intentionally placed or retrieved the photographs from the hidden compartment, and Michael was almost certainly involved. After Michael departed, William slowly walked across the office, deep in thought. He instructed his investigators to place Michael under discreet surveillance while preparing the next stage of the inquiry. Every recent movement, conversation, and contact involving Camilla would have to be reviewed from the beginning. William understood that moving too quickly could alert Camilla and give her time to erase the remaining evidence. But if he remained patient, the entire truth might eventually reveal itself. 1 month earlier, as late autumn left London, wrapped in damp, chilly weather, Camilla made a dangerous choice that she believed she alone could manage. Before dawn, one morning she quietly left the palace without informing either her secretaries or her official security detail. Driving her private vehicle herself, she headed toward the Cotswolds, where gentle green hills, centuries-old stone cottages, and quiet country roads offered a peaceful refuge far removed from both the public eye and royal scrutiny. Her destination was a meeting with Andrew Parker Bowles, the former husband she had divorced more than 30 years earlier, but never truly left behind. Although their marriage officially ended in 1995, the connection between Camilla and Andrew had continued. They remained the parents of 2 children, and beyond that, trusted friends and discreet allies within Britain's complex upper-class circles. Their private meetings were about more than shared memories. They also allowed them to exchange information, strengthen valuable relationships, and occasionally discuss matters that quietly supported Camilla's standing within royal society. What neither of them realized was that they had been followed from London by freelance journalist Victor Hale. Victor had built his reputation by pursuing royal scandals, always searching for sensational material that could either be sold to tabloid newspapers or used later for blackmail. Equipped with sophisticated camera equipment and years of surveillance experience, he quickly recognized that Camilla's unexplained journey was unusual. Keeping his distance, he patiently tracked her movements with high-powered lenses until the perfect opportunity arrived. His efforts paid off. He captured numerous crystal-clear photographs of Camilla and Andrew together inside the house, standing on a small balcony and sharing intimate moments that could never reasonably be interpreted as innocent friendship. Every photograph had the potential to spark a massive public scandal. Only 2 days later, Victor contacted Camilla through an anonymous telephone number. His voice was calm, cold, and entirely emotionless. "Lady Camilla, I happen to possess a rather fascinating collection of photographs. You and Mr. Andrew Parker Bowles appear exceptionally close. If you would rather not see these images decorating every newspaper front page, perhaps we should discuss suitable compensation." Camilla was sitting alone in her private study when the call came through. Her fingers tightened around the phone as blood rushed to her face. Her heart raced uncontrollably. She immediately understood how devastating those photographs could be. Public opinion would turn against her without mercy. Old controversies would resurface. She would once again be branded a traitor. And everything she had spent years trying to rebuild would collapse. Struggling to keep her voice under control despite its obvious tremble, she asked, "What is it that you want?" Victor responded with a mocking laugh. "Enough money to guarantee my silence, and it has to be cash, no paper trail." Camilla refused to involve Charles or anyone else inside the royal household. She resolved to deal with the crisis herself. That same night, she contacted Michael, the loyal bodyguard, who had faithfully served her for years. Although she tried to sound composed, panic lingered beneath every word. "Michael, I need your help. A journalist has obtained evidence against me. I want every photograph and every original file recovered. Whatever it takes, make it happen. You'll be rewarded generously." Michael responded immediately. Working through intermediaries, he combined financial incentives with carefully applied pressure until Victor surrendered the entire collection. Wanting to ensure the dossier could be placed aboard the Zenobia without leaving evidence behind, Michael manually interfered with part of the yacht's surveillance system. He temporarily disabled one section of the cameras just long enough to move the file unnoticed. Ironically, that brief interference later triggered the false security alarm that ultimately alerted the yacht's security team. Once Michael returned with the thick dossier and handed it over, Camilla finally allowed herself a breath of relief. Believing it would remain completely protected there, she concealed the file inside the hidden compartment aboard the Zenobia, convinced that no one would ever find it. As soon as the dossier arrived from the Zenobia, William moved without hesitation. He understood that every passing moment mattered. Within minutes, he assembled a discreet investigative unit made up exclusively of individuals whose loyalty had been proven throughout previous royal crises. Their first objective was to verify the location in the Cotswolds. Rather than visiting the property directly and risking attention, they relied on indirect methods, beginning with traffic camera footage covering the route from London. The evidence was unmistakable. Camilla had traveled there exactly 1 month earlier. Further confirmation came from records linked to a short-term rental booked through an intermediary. Although the reservation was not made under her name, the property's owner recalled a blonde woman staying there for 2 days. Every detail corresponded precisely with the location shown in the photographs. Seated in his office, William quietly examined the reports and digital maps before speaking in a measured tone. She traveled alone. There was no official engagement. This journey was planned. The investigators then shifted their attention to the Zenobia. Under the pretense of carrying out routine maintenance, they quietly conducted a comprehensive inspection of the yacht's security network. Their findings left everyone momentarily speechless. The surveillance system had not malfunctioned naturally, contrary to the original assessment made by the security crew. It had been deliberately altered. The digital traces matched the exact period during which Michael, Camilla's trusted bodyguard, was believed to have recovered the photographs. After reading the report, William gave a subtle nod. He knew the investigation was closing in on the truth. Michael didn't simply know what happened, he said. He carried it out himself. Instead of issuing another formal summons, William chose a more calculated approach. While Michael was on leave, one of William's trusted associates casually arranged to meet him at a quiet cafe outside London. There were no direct accusations or threats. Speaking calmly, but with unmistakable intent, the representative said, "We know you assisted her in recovering certain documents. We also know you tampered with the yacht's surveillance system. If you cooperate now, this will be much easier for you." A sheen of cold sweat appeared on Michael's forehead. His hand visibly shook around his coffee cup. I was only carrying out protection duties," he replied. Although he tried to sound composed, his explanations became increasingly uncertain and disorganized. Only 2 hours later, William received the audio recording from the meeting. A faint cold smile crossed his face. "He's frightened," William remarked. "Excellent. The more frightened he becomes, the more likely he'll make a mistake." At the same time, William ordered discreet but constant surveillance of Camilla. Every phone conversation, every message, and every movement she made was quietly documented. He had no intention of confronting or detaining her prematurely. His strategy depended entirely on patience. He wanted Camilla to believe she still controlled the situation, allowing panic to drive her into exposing even more incriminating evidence. Once she felt secure enough to act freely, he would have everything required to bring the investigation to its conclusion. The days that followed unfolded beneath an atmosphere of quiet pressure. Many evenings William remained alone in his office, overlooking the Kensington Gardens, wondering how King Charles would respond once the full truth became impossible to ignore. Meanwhile, the investigative team worked around the clock. They gathered additional location records, reviewed Michael's phone activity, and quietly examined financial transactions for signs that substantial payments might have been directed toward Victor Hale. Gradually, every missing piece found its place. William became increasingly convinced that this had never been a simple private reunion. It was an organized effort to conceal the truth, from hiring someone to recover the evidence to deliberately compromising the royal security system. At that very moment, Camilla sat inside her private lounge aboard the Zenobia, holding a freshly brewed cup of Earl Grey tea, when a horrifying realization struck her. The concealed compartment behind the false wall, the place she had trusted above all others, was empty. The thick dossier containing the incriminating photographs had disappeared completely. She sprang to her feet so suddenly that the teacup slipped from her hand, crashing onto the carpet as hot tea splashed across the floor. Her pulse raced uncontrollably. The color drained from her face, and her lips began to tremble. "No, that's impossible," she whispered weakly. She frantically searched every drawer, checking again and again, but the dossier was nowhere to be found. Someone had taken it, and she knew it could not have been an ordinary thief. Her first instinct was to call Michael, the loyal bodyguard who had recovered the evidence for her. The phone rang endlessly before redirecting to voicemail. She dialed again, then once more. Still nothing. Michael's complete silence only intensified her panic. She no longer had any doubt. The secret had been uncovered. Someone inside the royal family, almost certainly William, had discovered everything. Without another moment to lose, Camilla contacted Andrew Parker Bowles through a private number known only to the two of them. Although she tried to steady herself, despair was unmistakable in her trembling voice. "Andrew, the dossier is gone. They've taken it. We have to remove every remaining trace immediately." There was a long pause before Andrew finally answered, speaking quietly with obvious concern. "Camilla, stay calm. I'll deal with everything connected to the Cotswolds. As for you, don't make any reckless decisions. But if it comes to it, we'll have to deal with that journalist once and for all." After ending the call, Camilla leaned heavily against the wall, struggling to catch her breath. She understood the consequences all too well. If those photographs ever became public, not only would her personal reputation be destroyed, but her standing within the royal family would disappear as well. Charles might be capable of forgiving many things, but not this. William would be even less forgiving. She believed she had only one remaining option. After spending several agonizing hours torn between fear and determination, Camilla reached the boldest decision she had made yet. She would personally meet Victor Hale, the journalist who had blackmailed her, and silence him with money. A payment large enough to guarantee his permanent silence. She packed a suitcase full of cash, deliberately avoiding banks or any financial trail that could later be traced. That evening, she quietly left the Zenobia without entering the trip into any official schedule. She informed no secretaries, brought no security detail, and drove alone into the darkness. The passing streetlights cast shifting shadows across her exhausted face, highlighting every sign of anxiety. Again and again, she glanced into the rearview mirror, convinced someone might be following her. Yet she noticed nothing suspicious. She still believed she remained one step ahead. Meanwhile, inside a dimly lit operations room at Kensington Palace, William and his investigative team watched every one of Camilla's movements unfold across multiple monitors. Hidden surveillance cameras, vehicle tracking systems, and discreet field teams operated seamlessly together. Everything was documented in precise detail, from the exact moment she departed the yacht to the route she followed, and even the speed of her vehicle along the motorway. William remained seated, his expression calm and icy, though a faint sense of satisfaction appeared beneath it. Quietly, he turned to the aide beside him. "She's panicking," he said, "and she's taking us exactly where we need to go. Record every second. Make sure she never realizes we're watching." For more than 2 hours, Camilla drove through the night before reaching an isolated location outside London, where she and Victor had secretly arranged to meet. Stepping out of the car with the heavy suitcase in her hands, she felt equal measures of fear and determination. She convinced herself that once the money changed hands, everything would finally be over and she could buy back her peace. That evening, inside an abandoned warehouse on the outskirts of London, Camilla's arranged meeting with Victor Hale unfolded beneath an atmosphere thick with tension. Stepping out of her car, she clutched the heavy suitcase filled with cash, her face drained of color beneath the weak yellow warehouse lights. Victor was already waiting. His expression remained cold, and a faint, unsettling smile lingered across his face. "Tell me exactly what you want," Camilla said first, forcing herself to sound composed despite the tremor in her voice. "I'll give you enough money to ensure your silence forever." Victor gave a mocking smile. "So you really believe money can solve everything?" "Very well." Before he could complete his sentence, powerful lights suddenly illuminated the darkness around them. William's security officers emerged from every direction with flawless precision. Within seconds, Victor was restrained, his arms forced behind his back before he could react. Camilla stood completely motionless as the suitcase slipped from her hands and hit the ground. The color disappeared from her face as shock overtook her. What are you doing?" she managed to ask, barely able to get the words out. No one responded. The security officers immediately secured the suitcase of cash, confiscated Victor's mobile phone, and recovered the USB drive hidden inside his pocket. Victor was placed into a waiting vehicle without delay. In under 5 minutes, the entire operation had concluded. Camilla, still overwhelmed and speechless, was escorted back to Kensington Palace without receiving a single explanation. The following morning, Victor Hale was questioned at a confidential location. Faced with overwhelming evidence and unmistakable warnings about the consequences awaiting him, the freelance journalist quickly abandoned any attempt to resist. Speaking with a shaking voice, he admitted everything. "I followed Lady Camilla from London. I photographed her meeting with Andrew Parker Bowles in the Cotswolds. After that, I blackmailed her. She sent her bodyguard, Michael, to recover the photographs. I gave him everything, but I secretly kept backup copies." Every word of Victor's confession was documented, signed, and accompanied by detailed records of the dates, locations, and financial transactions involved. From the adjoining observation room, William watched quietly. Satisfaction gradually appeared on his face, though it was tempered by disappointment. The investigation was now complete. He possessed the original photographs recovered from the yacht Camilla's vehicle tracking records, proof that the surveillance system had been deliberately altered. Victor's full confession and video footage showing Camilla arriving with a suitcase full of cash to meet the journalist. That same afternoon, Camilla was instructed to appear before a closed meeting inside the palace. She entered the room, attempting to project her usual confidence and authority, but the slight tremble in her hands betrayed her composure. William sat at the head of the table, accompanied by 2 senior royal advisors. Resting directly in front of Camilla was the open dossier. "What exactly is this?" she demanded, raising her voice. "I have nothing to do with these photographs. This is nothing more than slander." William met her gaze without hesitation, his expression unwavering. "We have everything," he replied calmly. "The original photographs, your vehicle records, Victor Hale's confession and footage showing you delivering money to him last night. Don't make this any more difficult than it already is, Camilla." She continued denying the accusations for a little while longer, but the evidence laid before her formed a complete and undeniable picture. Every fact supported the next. Gradually, her resistance disappeared. She slowly lowered herself into her chair, exhaustion and hopelessness replacing defiance. Deep down, she knew the outcome could no longer be changed. The royal household dealt with the matter swiftly and entirely behind closed doors. Although deeply saddened, King Charles ultimately accepted the unanimous decision. Camilla was stripped of every public responsibility, relieved of all official royal duties, and deprived of any inheritance rights connected to the royal succession. From that moment forward, she no longer held any future as queen in any capacity. Charles quietly instructed legal advisors to begin preparing divorce proceedings. Camilla remained inside the palace, but only as someone who possessed none of the influence or authority she once enjoyed, a mere shadow of the woman she had been. The affair was never formally disclosed through official media channels. Nevertheless, whispers gradually escaped into aristocratic circles and unofficial press networks. Rumors spread quickly, despite the silence. Many supporters of the monarchy were quietly shaken. Some reacted with disbelief, others with disappointment, yet almost no one dared discuss the matter publicly. During the weeks that followed, Camilla withdrew into an increasingly isolated existence. Public appearances became rare, and the confident smile she had long displayed disappeared completely. Andrew Parker Bowles also remained silent, severing all communication. Michael, the once trusted bodyguard, quietly vanished from royal service without any public explanation. William resumed his royal responsibilities with the same composed appearance he always displayed. Yet privately, he fully understood what had just happened. The British royal family had survived one of the gravest silent crises it had faced in many years. If you were in William's position, would you choose to protect the monarchy by keeping the scandal hidden? Or would you reveal the complete truth? Let us know your opinion in the comments below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more stories. And before you leave, click on the next video appearing on your screen. You won't want to miss it.